We are live captioning our meetings. Please look in the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you'll find a link. Please click on that link to open a web page with the live captioning. I'd like to welcome some guests to tonight's meeting. Ms. Helise Agria for Dr. Meredith Warner, Dr. Ken Guerrero for Dr. Veronica Hippolito, Ms. Stephanie Hoppel from Academic Affairs, and Dr. Sean Petty from Paradise Valley Community College. At this time, I'd like to call to order the agenda review meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board of October 14, 2025. Today, we will review the agenda for the October 28, 2025 board meeting. Let the record reflect that it is 4:31. For the record, I will call a roll of the board members. Starting with Ms. Smith, Pamela Smith.
Oh. Present.
Ms. Butler.
Present.
Ms. Davis.
Present.
Dr. Narini. Dr. Narini. Okay, I don't see Dr. Narini yet. Ms. Jacqueline Smith.
Present.
Ms. Sullivan.
Present.
Dr. Thor.
Present.
And myself. So we're all present with the exception of Dr. Narini at the moment.
I am here.
Dr. Narini. Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay.
I just had
You're
to
all here.
pick up my mic.
Thank you. All right. I would like to run through the agenda review as we normally do. However, in an effort to make our meetings more time effective and efficient, we're going to try something different tonight. I've been advised by legal this may actually be a better way than you listening to me speed reading items through the entire agenda. So with that, I'm going to do we will do these by groups. And as you have questions about any agenda item, please do not hesitate to let me know you have questions. But I think this will be more time effective for all of those listening because you can see everything obviously on the WebEx feed, or many of us have printed copies in front of us. So for the agenda for October 28th, we will do our normal call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, all of those items that you see under the regular meeting that appear on every agenda. I would note that under the student life report, it will be Glendale Community College, and the chancellor report will include a foundation semi-annual update. Any questions about the regular meeting items? Hearing none, we'll move on then to consideration of the consent agenda. Now we have a number of items on the consent agenda, so let's look at the first batch. If you could look at the first 6 items, are there any questions on the first 6 items of the consent agenda that any board members might have? Okay, hearing none, let's take the next 6, which would be items number 7 through 12. Any questions on those items? Okay, then moving on, items 13 through 18. Any questions on these items? And please, again, stop me if you do. And then there's one more item on the consent agenda, item number 19, and I know there is at least one question. Ms. Davis, I know you have a question on this item, and there may be others. So, Ms. Davis?
Actually, President Bittersmith, my question has to do with the fee thing that's under the first read section.
Okay, my apologies. All right. Any questions on item number 19? Okay. Hearing none, let's move on to the non-consent agenda action items. Any questions on section F of the agenda?
Bittersmith.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that in the recommended action line, Thomas, the name Thomas is misspelled.
Elsa, I'll have you note that. Thank you.
Ms. Bittersmith?
Yes.
I was looking at something totally different. But I do have a question, of course, on number 19 about the course fees and things.
Okay, we'll go back up to that. Dr. Narini?
Okay, first of all, I'm excited to see the new format of course fees. And I want to give a shout out to the course fee committee and all the work that they did to get us to this point with well, I'm probably the only one who noticed the new format, but just in case, it making things a lot smoother. So I would like to ask somebody if they could share with the whole board the new layout and what that's doing for us and how we are moving forward with the course fees.
Dr. Gonzalez, who could do that efficiently for us? And I'm looking at what's up on our WebEx screen.
President Bittersmith, Dr. Narini, I'm going to reach out to both Dr. Lisa Armour and Dr. Meredith Warner to see if they want to tackle that.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. This is Lisa Ray. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Wonderful. What a nice WebEx surprise for me today. You know, Dr. Narini and board, the task force has been working very hard on the prompts that they are providing for the colleges as they are making proposals regarding these course fees. I've got a breakdown, a document that you may be interested in taking a look at, which is sort of a before and after. But what I would say in summary about this new format and the richer information that we're seeing is that the prompts are more specific and they are also distinct from one another, so that respondents understand that there is specific information being required, not just about what the course fee will be used for specifically, but why an increase may be necessary, what the options are for the course fee paying student, and so on. So I think the improved information you're seeing is really about that. As far as the layout format for the report and so on, we do have Halise Agria with us this evening, and she may want to make some comments about that layout or format. Is that of interest, Dr. Narini?
Yes, please. I think the whole board would be interested in hearing what the new and improved layout is.
Halise, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Dr. Armour. Good evening, Dr. Narini, President Bittersmith, Chancellor Gonzalez. We're really excited about the new format. So as part of the task force, we agreed and recommended a new format of the course fees, which we're going to include essentially 3 reports. The report that you're seeing here is the district-wide maximum course fee proposal, which is sent as a consent agenda item. And this will come to you during the 2 collection cycles that you usually receive each year. This will include all courses that are requesting a new or an increase to an existing district-wide max, which essentially represents the range of fees that the colleges are assessing on a given course. Additionally, you'll also receive an informational item for all college assessed course fees proposals that fall at or below that district-wide max. And in both cases, the college will present all the same information so that you can understand exactly how that fee, what that fee is for, how it's being assessed, as Dr. Armour mentioned, what the options are for the course fee paying student, et cetera. This new process is also included. I want to highlight that these district-wide course maxes now go through both the instructional councils and the district curriculum committee to have that clear line of sight on the efficacy of the pedagogical practices that are generating the need for the fees. So we're really excited about it's been quite a transition to get to this place, to be able to identify district-wide maxes and to be able to provide this new format and this new way of looking at fees in the district. And I'm really excited to share that I think that the engagement with our instructional councils has been great. And I think this is going to lead to both greater transparency about how fees are being used and assessed, but also will bring more collaboration across the colleges in how they determine fees going forward, because those conversations already just in this first time moving to this transition is already producing those results with councils connecting more to each other than they have in the past around fees. So I'm really excited to share that.
Thank you so much, Elise. If I may add one more word of appreciation, our college presidents are going to be present as they generally are during our agenda reviews and our board meetings. And they are hoping that they will be able to take any questions that arise about the specifics at their colleges in the moment. Of course, I will always be happy to take notes about requested details and context and pass those along if it's necessary. But it is our hope that we can be kind of in the immediate in our responses rather than simply timely as a follow-up. So thank you, college presidents, for your collaboration.
And if I could add one more piece, another thing that you'll see in the report that you have not seen before is the last date the fee was evaluated by the college. In addition, the college current fee, the proposed fee, and the district-wide max. And if they're requesting an expedition of the fee. So those are new things that you've not seen in previous reports that we added because we understood that those would be of benefit as you go through the review. So those last three columns on the report show whether the last time the fee was evaluated by the college, whether expedition was requested, the term it will be effective, and then you'll also see a new column for district-wide max.
And I want to point out that we also have not a column, but a paragraph there that talks about the student-facing description. So what the students will see when they're signing up for the class that gives them a description of the fee or what the fee is for.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I also want to make sure that we understand that, and help me explain this, is that the max fee isn't an open check for people to different colleges just to raise the fee to that max. They'll still have to give us a reason that matches what's been the maximum fee. Is that correct?
Yes, those changes, Dr. Narini, would be part of the information item that comes to you. If they are within the established maximum fee, but they are raising, they will provide an explanation for that.
Okay, but I mean that, because this semester they've done an excellent job of how the fees will be used. But I'm thinking of the example that somebody had asked me, if we're establishing a fee for let's say $150 fee for an ebook, and at one college for a class, and then another college says I want to raise it to $150, but I'm going to use it on consumables and a field trip. We approved it because it was for the ebook, but another college is coming in to raise it to the same amount for something completely different. They'll still have to request that. Is that correct?
That will still be a point of discussion and collaboration at the IC level, the instructional council level, is my understanding. Elise, you're welcome to provide additional insight on that.
Yeah, so it's an excellent question. The college can go up to that max for different reasons, but they have to also be sound pedagogical reasons. And those would also be sent to the instructional council as a information item so that they can review their peers. One of the things that we were very concerned as a task force that we did not want people using this as a ticket to increase their fees to the maximum that would be allowable. But also the purpose of the college assessed fee was to create more flexibility in being able to determine fees at the college level, assuming they go through, not assuming, we've set it up so that they have to go through all the same structures of request, and that request goes all the way up to their college president, and that we will also be reviewing those. And if we see that there's a tendency, which I don't believe will happen, but if we see that there is a tendency of colleges to raise to the max, then we will need to reevaluate this process, as Dr. Armour mentioned, so that we will, this is a new recommendation on how we do this, but it will not necessarily be the final way we do this based on how we move through this process together.
And an additional safeguard, of course, Dr. Narini and board, is that there's a local college approval process for assessed course fees. Those are sent to the board as the information item too.
Okay,
And
great.
you will also receive a final report each year, which will be yet another fail-safe, which is you will receive a summary of all college assessed fees sent in May. You will receive that. So that will give you a compendium of everything that was done over the course of the year in terms of the course fee cycle.
Perfect. Well, that leads me to another question I had about the projected revenue. What the projected revenue is the total amount that we're collecting, or is it the total amount of the difference that we had collected before?
It is the difference.
Can we get a column that tells us what the total projected revenue is that we'll be collecting for each of these course fees?
For a future cycle?
I'm going to make a note and ask that technical question of the team, Dr. Narini. Thank you. It's a good question.
So that brings me to the other point, like projected enrollment in these estimates, these projections, is it a semester or for a year?
Colleges have been guided to provide a year enrollment.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Narini and Ms. Agria and Dr. Armour. I appreciate that. And I think with those questions now being answered, Dr. Narini, we can leave this on consent, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I have some more follow-up questions that I'll send, but it'll stay on the request. It's just some informational questions I have on some legally details. So
thank you, Dr. Narini. All right, let's move on to section F, non-consent action items. Understanding that item 1 will be following an exec session that will happen prior to the board meeting. Any questions or comments on those items? Hearing none, we'll go on to section G, first reading information. Now, Ms. Davis, I know you have a question on number 2. So anything else beyond Ms. Davis's question? If not, Ms. Davis?
Yes, in item number 2, under the Estrella Mountain section of the course fees, this doesn't really have, in my computer, it says it's on page 17 of 56. So it's the second one down, Elsa. Not that one, the other one. Yeah, that one. And go down to page 17. Estrella Mountain, okay. Okay. So the AI, you're in the right spot. The second one down, the AIT 275 robotics 2 one right there. It talks about a course fee, a current max of $100. It says the proposed college fee is $100, but the explanation indicates that the fee is going to be $45. And it looks like this explanation goes to a different course. So I just wanted to point that out. Or at least that's the way I'm reading it. If I'm reading it wrong, somebody needs to tell me.
Dr. Rivera, would you like to reply?
Dr. Rivera?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. If we're sent the information, we can make the modification so that the amount aligns with the description. Is there any other clarification?
Did that answer your question, Ms. Davis?
Well, Dr. Rivera, can you have somebody read the explanation to this one? Because I think that this explanation was an explanation of one previous to this particular course. And I don't think the explanation that's in here belongs to this course. So if you can have somebody review that and look at it, that would be helpful.
And get back to you, Ms. Davis.
Yes.
And if there's a correction for the final agenda, we can make it.
Yes, I agree. I'll make sure my team is able to review that item and make the necessary corrections so there's alignment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on the first read items? If not, monitoring reports, those are simply the placeholder for the budget analysis report. Any questions on that section? And then if not, we will obviously continue to have our community linkage reports and the next meeting date announcements. And I will just point out now that our agenda review session will actually not be on a normal Tuesday, but rather we move to the Veterans Day holiday. And with that, that's the end of agenda review, unless there's any additional questions from any board members. If not, board members, do I have a motion to adjourn to executive session pursuant to ARS Title 38-43103, subsection A3-1, personnel investigation matter? Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Thor. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously, and by unanimous vote, including the student advisory vote, the agenda review meeting of the governing board is now adjourned. Let the record reflect that it is 4:53, thereabouts. We have concluded our agenda review meeting and will now move forward to our executive session. Board members and those invited to the exec session, please stay on the WebEx link. All others, thank you for your time today. Let me know if this is a better process. If you hate it, also let me know too, and have a good evening.